Hello, and welcome back to Nat Scraps. What are we working on today? Well, we had a slimline folio from Uniquely Creative. It's part of the new February range called Serenity. And as you can see here, it is a slimline shape, and it has two sections that fold out. But I have just gone and ripped that thing into half. Not ripped, I cut it in half. And today we're going to make a little booklet out of it. So what you basically see now in front of me is the little booklet. So all good and well, if you're really good at decorating and you like the idea of having a little mini book instead of a folio, stop now, go off, create one, pop over to my Facebook page or pop back here and let me know how you went and show me some photos of how you decorated. If you want some ideas of how to decorate after you've turned your folio album into a mini book, then stick around and we will do it together. If you do not know, Uniquely Creative is an Australian company. If you do not know me, my name is Natalie Pekonik and I am a paper crafter, and I love creating and just making things out of paper. You can see here that we have sort of two halves to this book. We have the first half that folds open and then the second half that folds open exactly the same way, considering that they were one piece. They would. Silly statement of the day. And the other things that I'm using is the Serenity. There's a piece of 12 by 12 paper in the Serenity collection, and one of those has lots of little tags and little pocket elements and things that you can cut out, one of which you can see here. So I'm just going to score the lines that are already on that piece. I fussy cut the whole sheet before I started so that I had that already done and had the elements ready there before I started this project or started working with the stuff from this project. I also cut apart, there was a sheet of just cut apart images. You could use the back for whatever design you wanted, or you can cut them apart like I have here. Again, I did that before I even started this project because I like to have them. I'm less likely to go ahead and use those elements and cut them out if I'm partway through making a layout and they're not already pre-cut. If they're already pre-cut and they're ready to go, I am so much more likely to use them. So I found that I will use way more of those bits and pieces when I pre-cut them all out. And it's a nice little job fussy cutting, just sitting, watching YouTube or doing something along those lines and cutting the bits and pieces out. Now that I have this sort of base idea created, I spend quite a lot of time just opening and closing and kind of working my way through how I'm going to decorate this. It doesn't all come naturally, and unlike the magic of YouTube, there's lots of footage here that I have cut out. Don't ever believe it when it looks really, really easy, because most of the time we're all just fuddling our way through it. I'm sit here for quite a lot of time, tapping the table, trying to think, opening the folio up, closing it down. When I very first edited this video, and this one took loads and loads of editing, it was up over half an hour. It's still a really long video, and I apologize for that. I've edited and edited and edited, trying to cut down the time in here. But in saying that, I had a lot of things I could edit out, like me just opening to have a look at how it feels when it opens and closes, me, you know, repeatedly doing that throughout the whole session that I was making. Now, I just glued that down, realized I hadn't blended around the outside edges, and I thought it would look much better blended, so I popped it straight back off. I probably do that 3 or 4 times in this whole little creation, forget that I was blending, and then go back and have to pop things back on. This one I made into a pocket. Now, one of the things I found when I did cut this in half, because the top half of that the folio was decorated and the bottom half was not as decorated, still had the purple, so it was around about 9 inches high, just a bit under 9 inches high. So a bit under 4.5 once I cut it down. And being that in the back it needed slightly more decorating than what it did in the front half. That is just the way it worked out. It did take me a while to figure out how I wanted my photo mats. By the way, these are brand new product from Uniquely Creative. We can order them right now for you as resellers. So these are the photo mats. They come in a 6x4, a 5x7, a 3x4, and a 2x3. So lots of lovely sizes. They have that beautiful image there as well. And great when you're doing a project like this, especially if you want to give this project to somebody else. Having that photo mat already there helps, and it means you don't have to go back and worry about where your photos are going. People automatically know that's where a photo goes. Now, I did have to cut some of the 4x3s down by 1/4 of an inch. Either side here. The reason I needed to do that was to get them so that they could go horizontal, as you can see here. Now, I'm not quite sure what I was talking about before I interrupted myself, which is not an uncommon thing. I think I was talking about the decoration. So we'll just move on. We'll pretend I wasn't talking and that I didn't interrupt myself. There's not a lot of extra paper. I am using a couple of papers from the 6x6 pad, but if you've got the 12x12 pad, that would work just as well. Here you can see, again, I've forgotten to blend, so I'm just going to go around, slide my blending mat up underneath the edge of those pieces of cardstock and fix that problem up. You could use the 12x12 papers. You could also get away with using the 6x6 pad as I have. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. This weekend was a fantastic weekend. I started this on Friday night, and what I have my friends from all over Australia visiting me in Victoria. So each January I go to the tennis with one of my friends from South Australia. Hi, Kerry. And then this year I had the fun time of having some girls come over from WA as well. We met in Melbourne, came down to my regional Victoria property where we got to hang out for 3 days, and it was so much fun. The girls that came are girls I know from the old Kazaz days where I used to be a Kazaz consultant, and we knew each other. We'd all been on a Cambodia trip together, as well as many other conferences and things all around Australia, and it was just so nice to be able to catch up with them, catch up on our families, all the things that were happening. And if any of you are watching this, I love you so much. Thank you so much for being part of my life and making an effort to come and visit me all the way down here in regional Victoria. I so appreciate it. These girls kept me entertained all weekend, chatting, and quite often you'll see, like, we walk around, even though I recorded lots over this weekend, hands might come in and point to things, or might go out so if you see other sets of hands, just know that's one of these wonderful girls. So yeah. You can see there I did cut that photo mat down. I cut another one down as well, and they are just sitting there. Now, I was struggling with how to decorate this, what to put in. I've got the Serenity Creative cuts. I've got the Serenity Vellum cuts. I also have the cut parts that I've got from those 212x12 sheets. But a lot of the footage I cut out was me of just putting things down and pulling them away, putting things down, putting them away, putting things down, pulling them away. It is part of my process, but when the video gets to a certain length, you've got to cut something out, and some of that footage did go. I think the way I used this strip, now that is the 6x6 pad that had a little strip of green paper there, just went on to form a base for a majority of pages to come, that I used them as sort of like bases for things to sit on, or things to hang off the top, and so that my elements didn't look like they were just floating around photo mats on the page, or on the I guess they're pages. So that kind of come in to save me in the end. And you'll see I repeat that element throughout the whole mini album, which then creates also a little bit of cohesiveness so that things look like they were made to go together. There's so many cute, tiny little elements in Serenity. There's a cute owl. He'll probably come in a little bit later. There's this cute little squirrel. The tiny little bunny that is on just under my left hand there at the moment. He's holding this cute little flower up, this daisy, and he is just adorable as well. Stop and have a little look at some of these little bits and pieces because they are very, very, very cute. There's also some fairies and toadstools and some tree bits and lots of those kind of things as well. And that they all came into play along the way. This would be a cute little album for like a young girl's like birthday, or just something that could give family. It could change this up really easily. Now I'm going to be completely transparent here. I'm not a purple girl. I've never been a purple girl. I'm more of a red girl. I don't mind reds. I don't mind pops of colour, but purple and pink are not my go-to colours ever when I'm thinking of what I would like to do. So working with Serenity was a little bit challenging. I have a series of videos that I had with the rest of the 12 by 12 papers that I have left, and I think I created 5 or 6 layouts, and majority of that time I'm taming the purple and bringing in lots of greens and things into my layouts. So I'm kind of trying to tame the purple in Serenity, but I hope that you will like, subscribe, and get notified when those videos come, because if you're like me and not a purple girl, that is a real class in how to tone down colors that you maybe not be the biggest fan and still be able to use those papers and create with them and make things that are more to your taste. Now, it might not be purple, it might be greens or blues or yellows or, I don't know, whatever color it is. Then you know, there's always ways to tame those colors or to make other colors stand out a little bit more so they don't look full on purple, because I definitely isn't my favorite thing to have. Here I'm going to put a little journaling card in. You can see that little purple one that just went in the corner. Now I want that so that I can write something on it, or whoever gets this little mini album can write something on that. So I want a few lines on the back, and how I do that is I place it onto mat. I make sure that it's nice and straight up and down, and then I'm going to put some masking tape on either side of that tag. So you can see there on one side, I'm going to pop it also on the other side, and then the lines on my mat, because I know that the tag is straight, I can just go for each 1/4 inch line there, move my ruler down and mark along. That will leave me with lovely straight lines, as well as a lovely place, but also without running right to the edge. Or, you know, if you do it freehand, you just go, I'll go from here to here. You either go a little bit too long on one side, or you have a blob of ink at the start of it. That way you get a really nice clear line. I do it again later in the video, but I cut it out so you don't have to watch it twice. Here I'm just creating a little tag for this pocket. So this is at the back half. So again, it did take a little bit more decoration on the back half of this album. And I'm going to slide that in. Now it's really, really tight. So one of the things you can do if you get a really tight pocket is to pop like a ruler or something like that down into it and kind of move it around in there, and it will stretch the paper just a little bit. You don't need to be too vicious with it, but just stretching that so that the tag will slide in and out with just a little bit more of ease. Now I'm pretty much repeating here what I did on the other side. So I am using the same size mats and bits and pieces, bringing them in, and then using the green. So once you have a little bit of a formula that seems to work, stick with it. Don't reinvent the wheel for every little bit, stick with it. So for here, the formula is that I'm using the mats on a horizontal as well as vertical, but bringing in the smaller ones there. Trying to find a spot. I finally found a spot. I tried many times to find a spot for that butterfly. Finally did. It is going to go there. Using those green strips, going back to how I interrupted myself again, that must be about the fourth or fifth time, yeah? So using those horizontal green strips as foundation for my other elements. And I'm just going to build out these clusters now. I'll pop these roughly where I want them, and we will build out those clusters. So cutting the green. This does get a little bit repetitive, sorry. You can put this on double speed, or you can fast forward. I do try to get this tree in there somewhere, and I eventually just give up and move on. But I do try to get that tree in there several times. I cut out quite a little bit of footage too of me trying to get that tree to fit on there. It just wasn't going to fit. I had to give it up in the end. I liked, once I did this here with this purple flower, I sort of cut the bottom off it in a second. And that also, I end up going back to other pages I've done and using that similar element as well. So again, when you find something that works, feel free to repeat it. Do it again. So it's different flowers. They look slightly different. They're not all exactly the same, or they're not all the same kind of cluster, but repeating an element that works. You've already done the hard work. You figured out it works. Reuse it again. So I'm going to pop that butterfly there, and you'll see here where I just put this, so it's not all the way on, so it's just a little bit on the, I still see a little bit of that green strip, and it's sort of over the photo mat a little bit, and I'll trim off the bottom. I'm repeating myself what I'm talking about too. Sorry about that, guys. The reason I'm repeating it is because I don't know what else to say. You know, I've got myself to that stage. So just going to add another little cluster here. I don't initially have the green strip on here, but I will pop it in. And again, that just meant that although all those things that I do put in have somewhere to sit. If you have seen my Hello Darling collection, I have last month's Uniquely Creative collection was Hello Darling. It was a beautiful neutral collection that had lots of elements to do with babies and children in it, with really, really cute animals and elements. I've done a whole series on that, so if you haven't seen that, please go back, check it out, and check what we did there. And if you're liking the videos I create, I ask you a big favor. I know it's huge, but could you please hit the like button? If you really want to really do like me, hit the subscribe button, because I am trying to get my numbers up a little bit on the channel. I've had a big break last year. I didn't put up much. I was really struggling the end of last year, but I'm hoping to get back to where I was. Here I'm just doing a bit of a cleanup on my bench. It's always nice to do a bit of a cleanup. One, because your bench looks a bit better, not that mine very often does, and two, because you find things. So I went through all those little bits, and you've seen I pulled aside some things that I think I might like to use. Not all of them, but like, yeah. So going through those piles and collecting all the bits and pieces can sometimes help to find what you like. Now you can see there I'm looking at that double where the two little folios are joined at the front, and I was looking at the back as well. I'm going to come back and I'm going to do something with that. I don't like the idea that at the front where the two folios are joined, it looks like it should come apart. And in the back of my mind, I'm a little bit worried that somebody's going to try to jimmy that apart, thinking that they open and they're accidentally stuck together. So a little bit later in this video, I will show you how I fixed that problem. There's not much more decorating to be done. I'm just going to come in with a couple of tiny little elements here, there, and everywhere, and then do finishing touches and a final reveal. This is one of those cute little animals I was talking about, this little owl. He's just adorable, and I really do like the raccoon up the top, but don't think I found somewhere for the raccoon to go on this little mini album. Several of the pages I have created, I did find somewhere for him to go. You can see there I was just opening and closing, and I think a lot of it is just going back through, making sure that each page is looking cohesive and that I have enough elements in the little mini album. Here I'm debating if I want to do journaling again. I do decide, and as I said earlier, I am going to cut that bit out because you've seen me do it before. You don't need to see me do it again. Just blending around the outside edges of that. I didn't blend on that actual tag bit. Oopsie daisy. Such is life. Now I do stop here and go, I need a little like opening flap on this particular layer. So I'm going to create like a little strap that goes around and then use some magnets. So you can see him here just kind of measuring that, making sure that it's going to fit, that it's going to stand out enough. And oops, did it again. I go and I get this all in place, grab the glue, glue it down. What haven't I done, guys? Blending. I can hear you all yell at me about now. Blending. Now, you haven't blended it. I'm sticking it down, and I'm going to realize just after I've done this, I do add a little bit of glue there because, you know, you don't want your little piece to be flippity floppity there, and then I go, no, I need to blend it. And especially because there's two floral elements at the front, there's that bit and then there's a floral bit at the front. I do want it to stand out a little bit so people can see that there is opening there. And so I go back in and I'm going to re-glue that element and try again. Such is life. You can see by now that I am a forgetful girl. Now, on that edge where it comes around, I use the bone scorer. There's my big head getting in the way there. And then I laid it up and did it where it comes around the front as well. Scored the paper and then creased it up with my fingers so that it makes a nice sharp corner there as it goes around. Now, Uniquely Creative have these magnets, and one of the best things about them is they come with these little sticky dots that help you to stick the magnets exactly where you want. So I'm going to stick that on, and then I'm going to get the opposite one that's going to go on the other side, stick the little sticker to the back of that, and then close it onto the paper, squeeze it shut, and that will place my magnet exactly where I want. Now, to fix the little issue here on the inside, so you can see that join, and they're both stuck together, and they're stuck together well. But as I said earlier, I was a little bit worried somebody's going to try to rip that little bit open, because it does look like it's a part of the booklet that should open. So I'm using the vellum cuts. Now, the reason I chose the vellum cuts is because they will mold around the little gaps really, really well. And also they are very strong and will open and shut repeatedly without too many problems. So where the next little score line is, or movement. So I do that at top. It was a little bit tricky to get that to trim that edge. So on that second one, I actually trim it first and then lay it to the right level rather than trying to have to go in with the scissors, because I found it a little bit tricky to get into the corner there. Going in, making that all nice and popping the photo back onto it. And now I'm looking at the outside edge and I'm thinking I need the same. So that's the middle bit. And then am I thinking I'm going to do the same with the outside? But I decide different and decide to go, you can see my friend's hands popping in there every now and then. We're obviously having a bit of a discussion about this. We decide to go with a piece of paper there instead. Now, I think I did this after I did the reveal, but I also did put like a little ticket there, so it looked like a little label, like book label on the end. But we popped it, that piece of paper there. It just covers up the different joins and gives the look of a book. really, that's all it did. Just a little finishing touch, and that was pretty much my album. So in a moment, I'll come back in with current me or after me, or before me, but anyway, I'll come back in and I will do a final reveal on a nice clean bench for you guys. Oops, I'm just flipping through here. Oh, I've got a couple of other tiny little bits. No, I'm not done yet. I got a couple of other tiny little bits that need just a couple of little elements there to finish off. And I don't think that deer survives. I think we put survives or stays there, I should say. Yeah, I put in a little flower there, and I think there was one other. So that final little flip through, like I did a little one last little one and went, oh, there's a bit missing there, and another little element that I can pop in there, and that just finishes it off nicely. Okay. And here we are. Here is the final one. I'll do just a little run through for you guys. So we've got the little clip open now, and then we open up this way. Now you do have room for more photos here, but I do like the pretties as well. Oh, and then the other half, open, you have your little pockets, little tag, and open again. Thank you guys for watching. We will see you on the next one. Bye.